One example. So I have moved once that I remember. My family's moved a lot of times when I was like a baby. And we moved from a city called Renton to a city called Redmond. And they were fairly nearby. It wasn't like a huge distance, but a lot of things were different. We had a lot of friends in Renton, and we made new friends in Redmond, and so it was a different environment, a different city. It was a smaller city, and so some of those things you notice when you move, and it may not turn out the way that you thought it would. It might be better, it might be worse, and so some of these things are great material for a personal narrative. Tip number 1, choose a memory about a difficulty, a conflict, or an obstacle. Now these are kind of hard concepts to understand, conflicts and obstacles. And the reason I'm saying choose a memory about a difficulty, a conflict, or an obstacle is because the stories that you read all have a conflict. So in the Chronicles of Narnia, it's about defeating the White Witch. The White Witch has a conflict with the Pevensies, the main characters. What about in Harry Potter? It's about Harry Potter trying to defeat Voldemort. All the stories that you read will most likely have a conflict and an obstacle, where two people or two different sides are arguing or trying to defeat each other, and there's something that gets in their way. Those are conflicts and obstacles. And they're not just limited to the storybooks. You have a lot of them in your own life. An obstacle, after all, is anything that gets in your way. So what are some things that get in your way? Think about what are some things that get in your way. Some examples might be your sister. I know that one sounds a little weird, but here's why. If I'm heading over to the chocolate drawer and I'm trying to get a little bar of chocolate for myself, my sister will be there blocking me and saying, oh, you've already had like 2 pieces of chocolate today. So that's where your sister might be an obstacle, blocking you from getting something you want. A storm. A storm might be an obstacle if it knocked out the power and you had to get on your computer and print out an assignment for school. And so what are some obstacles that you have faced in your own life? Think of a time you wanted something and there was something in your way stopping you from getting that. So let's say you want a slice of pizza, but there's a huge wall with no doors between you and the pizza. That would be a very literal or very basic obstacle, would be a wall. But there are also obstacles you create for yourself. For instance, I was always really scared of jumping into the water at the pool. That was an obstacle I created for myself. I wanted to jump in the water, but my own fear was an obstacle. So being scared of something could be an obstacle. A person could be an obstacle. So what are some obstacles you have had in your own life?